At the beginning of December, my husband and I will be taking our first trip to Disney World as adults. In honor of that trip, and because I just cannot wait for it, I've decided to dedicate today's video to part 1 of Disney conspiracies you might not have heard of. Welcome to the Crafty Cryptid, a channel dedicated to the dark, the strange, and the mysterious. If you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe and ding the notification bell to be updated when I post next. For today, we're going to dive into the world of Disney conspiracies. This first one has been around practically since the movie Frozen came out, but did you know that it was actually confirmed to be true by the director? Well, sort of. When Anna and Elsa's parents are shipwrecked in the beginning of the movie, we all assumed they had died on the boat. But according to director Chris Buck, they actually survived the crash. Buck told MTV News, quote, "Of course Anna and Elsa's parents didn't die. Yes, there was a shipwreck, but they were at sea a little bit longer than we think they were, because the mother was pregnant, and she gave birth on the boat to a little boy. They get shipwrecked, and somehow they really washed way far away from the Scandinavian waters, and they end up in the jungle. They end up building a tree house, and a leopard kills them, so their baby boy is raised by gorillas." So in my little head, Anna and Elsa's brother is Tarzan. But on the other side of that island are surfing penguins. To tie in a non-Disney movie, Surf's Up. That's my fun little world. Unquote. As far as the Disney company goes, the two stories are not officially connected, and certainly not with a non-Disney movie like Surf's Up. But in the mind of the director and animator, Tarzan truly is the little brother to Anna and Elsa. It makes sense, considering Buck also directed the movie Tarzan. Our next conspiracy is perhaps a little more macabre than the first. Have you ever heard that Peter Pan might be an angel? James Matthew Barrie, the author of Peter and Wendy, lost his brother in an ice skating accident when the boy was only 13 years old. So, to Barrie's mother, his brother David never actually got to grow up. With that in mind, let's take a look at the first chapter of Peter and Wendy. At first, Mrs. Darling did not know, but after thinking back into her childhood, she just remembered a Peter Pan who was said to live with the fairies. There were odd stories about him, as that when children died, he went part of the way with them, so that they should not be frightened. She had believed in him at the time, but now that she was married and full of sense, she quite doubted whether there was any such person. According to the story, Peter went part of the way to heaven with the spirits of dead children, and considering that Peter Pan was named after the two sons of Barrie's dear friend Sylvia Davies, who passed away from cancer, it gives this conspiracy even more credence. Was Peter Pan really the angel of death for children? And if so, does that mean that Wendy and the boys that Peter takes to Neverland are actually dead? Our theme of macabre stories of death continue with this last theory, which is about the founder of the Disney company, Walt Disney himself. No, we won't be discussing whether his head has been cryogenically frozen. Perhaps that will be the topic of a future Crafty Cryptid video. This time, we will be discussing why it is that Walt made all of the Disney princesses motherless. Belle had Maurice, Jasmine had her Sultan, and Ariel had King Triton. But a nurturing motherly figure was entirely absent from the lives of all your favorite heroines. Years later, this strange Disney trope has been discussed time and time again. The widely accepted reason behind it seems to be that heroes and heroines grow up faster without their mothers. But no one has added more to the conversation than longtime Disney producer Don Hahn did via his interview with Glamour. According to Hahn, the absence of mothers in Disney films might also have something to do with the tragic loss of Walt Disney's own mother. Walt Disney, in the early 1940s, when he was still living at this house, also bought a house for his mom and dad to move into, Hahn explained. He had the studio guys come over and fix the furnace, but when his mom and dad moved in, the furnace leaked and his mother died. The housekeeper came in the next morning and pulled his mother and father out on the front lawn. His father was sick and went to the hospital, but his mother died. Hahn then went on to explain that there is a theory among Disney folk that this enormous loss and the guilt surrounding it haunted the man for the rest of his life. He would never talk about it. Nobody ever does, Hahn continued. He never spoke about that time because he felt personally responsible, because he had become so successful that he said, "Let me buy you a house." It's every kid's dream to buy their parents a house. And just through a strange freak of nature, through no fault of his own, the studio workers didn't know what they were doing. There's a theory, and I'm not a psychologist, but he was really haunted by that. That idea that he really contributed to his mother's death was really tragic. If you dig, you can read about it. It's not a secret within their family, but it's just a tragedy that is so difficult to even talk about. It helps to understand the man a little bit more. It's sad to think that Walt could have suffered so much from his own mother's death that he seemed to cry out with each of his animations. Since their inception, Disney cartoons have always been focused around people with only a father or with no parents at all. Many theories have been proposed as to why, but I think that this theory holds the most weight. Perhaps there was no deeper agenda. Perhaps it was just because a gentleman missed his mom. This is only part 1 of my series on Disney conspiracies, so if you would like to hear more in the next video, please leave the ones you love in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. To be notified when I post, click subscribe and ding the notification bell. I upload videos multiple times a week. Leave a thumbs up if you'd like more Disney-themed content. Thanks for watching, and come back soon, Cryptids.